Hello fight fans, and welcome back to the channel where we dig deep into the sweet science, breaking down the biggest headlines, the wildest rumors, and the most crucial matchups in the sport of boxing. Today we are focusing on a showdown that is quickly becoming the most anticipated tactical battle of the year. We are talking about the impending collision between two of the most talented fighters of this generation, Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. This is the kind of fight that splits households and causes arguments in barbershops. And just when you think you have a handle on who has the edge, a new perspective comes out that makes you rethink everything. We have a very special angle on this matchup today because we are looking at it through the eyes of a man who knows exactly what it feels like to stand across the ring from Shakur Stevenson. That man is none other than the former two-division world champion, Oscar Valdez. Now, if you follow the sport closely, you know that Valdez is as game as they come. He is a warrior in every sense of the word. But back in 2022, he ran into the matrix that is Shakur Stevenson and lost his super featherweight title. Because of that experience, Valdez's assessment of the upcoming Lopez versus Stevenson fight carries a lot of weight. He has felt the speed, he has seen the defense, and he knows the puzzle. Yet his prediction is not as straightforward as you might think. Before we get into exactly what Oscar Valdez had to say, let's set the stage for this massive event. We are looking at a date that every boxing purist has circled on their calendar. On January 31, the bright lights of Madison Square Garden in New York City are going to shine down on what many are calling a legacy-defining moment for both men. Teofimo Lopez is putting his WBO super lightweight title on the line. But this isn't just a title defense, it is a battle for supremacy and pound-for-pound respect. For Stevenson, the stakes are historically high as he looks to capture a world title in a fourth weight class. That is the kind of achievement that cements you in the Hall of Fame before your career is even halfway done. The narrative surrounding this fight is absolutely fascinating because you have a classic clash of styles and temperaments. On one side, you have Shakur Stevenson, a southpaw who is widely considered the heir to the throne of Floyd Mayweather when it comes to defensive wizardry. He is slippery, he is precise, and he rarely makes a mistake. Then, standing across from him, you have the takeover, Teofimo Lopez. Lopez is the embodiment of explosive athleticism and unpredictability. He is coming off a very solid, comprehensive points victory over Arnold Barboza Jr., a win that reminded everyone that when Teofimo is focused, he is a problem for anyone at 140 pounds. However, the reason this fight is so hard to call, and the reason Oscar Valdez's opinion is so interesting, is because of the enigma that is Teofimo Lopez. We have all seen the best of him, and we have seen the confusing side of him. This is the man who did the unthinkable in 2020 when he dethroned Vasyl Lomachenko. He took all the belts and proved he could outbox a master boxer. Then fast forward to 2023, and he did it again against Josh Taylor, dismantling the lineal champion in a performance that was nothing short of brilliant. But there is that other side of the coin. Lopez has a history of playing down to his competition. We saw him struggle in fights against lesser-known opponents, where he looked flat and frustrated. And of course, there is that one blemish on his record, that shock defeat to George Kambosos Jr. back in 2021. That loss still hangs over him in conversations about consistency. Despite that, at 28 years old, Teofimo has largely established himself as a legitimate top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. His ceiling is incredibly high, but his floor can be worryingly low depending on where his head is at. On the other side of the ring, you have the consistency of Shakur Stevenson. Unlike Lopez, Stevenson doesn't really have off nights. He has remained incredibly steady at the world level. Just look at his most recent performance in July, where he defended his WBC lightweight title against William Zepeda. He did what he always does, neutralized the offense, controlled the distance, and won the rounds. He is a technician in the truest sense of the word. This brings us back to Oscar Valdez. If anyone has a reason to be biased toward Shakur's skill set, it is him. Before moving up in weight, Shakur's most praiseworthy win was arguably against Valdez. At the time, Valdez was the undefeated WBO super featherweight champion. He was the man, and over the course of that 12-round contest, Shakur put on a boxing clinic. He outboxed Valdez through large spells of the fight, making a world-class fighter look ordinary. It was a humbling night for the Mexican star, and it would be easy for him to say, "Trust me, nobody beats Shakur." But that is not what happened. Despite having been on the receiving end of a Shakur masterclass, Valdez looks at this upcoming clash with Teofimo Lopez and sees a dead-even fight. In a recent interview with Fight Hub TV, Valdez was pressed to pick a winner. You could see him weighing the options, processing the data, and ultimately he decided to refrain from backing one guy over the other. In his eyes, this is a genuine 50-50 matchup. Valdez described the impending bout as a chess game inside that ring. That's a perfect analogy when you consider the IQ levels of both fighters. But what makes Valdez's opinion so compelling is because of how he breaks down the attributes. He highlighted Teofimo Lopez as a tremendous athlete. And this isn't just generic praise. Valdez mentioned that he has seen Lopez training with his own eyes. He has watched the work ethic and the physical capabilities up close. He described Lopez's ability to do different things inside the ring as abnormal.
When world champions call another fighter's ability abnormal, you have to listen. It suggests that Teofimo possesses physical gifts, speed, power, reflexes that simply defy the standard logic of the sport. Valdez is essentially saying that you cannot just game plan for Teofimo because he can do things physically that other fighters just can't replicate. That unpredictability is the X factor that could disrupt Shakur's rhythm. However, Valdez didn't ignore the obvious strengths of his former conqueror. He gave Stevenson his flowers, calling him the best fighter, defensive-wise, that's out there. And coming from a guy who tried to hit him for 36 minutes and mostly hit air, that is a ringing endorsement. Valdez acknowledges that hitting Shakur is nearly impossible when he is in his groove, but even with that supreme defense, Valdez kept coming back to that 50-50 probability. He just doesn't see a clear favorite. Now, there is another layer to this that we have to address for the sake of transparency, and Valdez admitted this himself. He shares a close personal friendship with Teofimo. In the boxing world, loyalty often clouds judgment. Teammates pick teammates, friends pick friends. It's natural, but Valdez insisted that even when he removes that bias from the equation, when he takes off the friendship hat and puts on the analyst hat, he still cannot select a clear winner. It's not just about hoping his buddy wins, it's about looking at the styles and realizing that Teofimo's explosive athleticism might be the kryptonite to Shakur's disciplined defense, or vice versa. This assessment from Valdez really adds fuel to the fire for the fans. Usually, when a technician like Stevenson fights, the narrative is that he will bore the opponent to death and win an easy decision. But here, you have a guy who felt that technique firsthand saying, "Hold on, Teofimo is different." It suggests that we might not get the standard Shakur-Stevenson fight. We might get a volatile, high-stakes chess match where one wrong move from either side ends the night or shifts the momentum entirely. The fact that this fight is happening at Madison Square Garden only amplifies the intensity. Teofimo considers New York his territory, and he usually feeds off that energy. But Shakur is from Newark, just a stone's throw away, so he is going to have his own army in the building. The atmosphere is going to be electric, and the pressure on both men will be immense. For Teofimo Lopez, this is the chance to silence the doubters who say he is too inconsistent. Beating Shakur Stevenson would be another Lomachenko moment for him, a victory that proves he is the master of upsetting the odds against technical wizards. For Shakur Stevenson, this is the moment to prove he can handle a dynamic, explosive puncher at 140 pounds. He wants to be a four-weight world champion, and doing it by beating the man who beat Lomachenko and Taylor would make his resume bulletproof. It's rare that we get a fight where the outcome feels this uncertain. Often in boxing, there's an A side and a B side, and you kind of know how the script is supposed to go. But when you have Oscar Valdez, a guy who's been to the top of the mountain and faced the very best, unable to pick a winner, it tells you everything you need to know. This is a pick'em fight. It's athleticism versus precision, chaos versus order, the takeover versus the future. As we inch closer to January 31st, the debates are only going to get hotter. Can Teofimo catch Shakur with something he doesn't see coming? Can Shakur frustrate Teofimo into making mistakes, like he did against Kambosos? It's a fascinating clash of philosophies. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Do you agree with Oscar Valdez? Is this truly a 50-50 fight in your eyes? Or do you think Shakur Stevenson's defense is just too good for anyone, including Teofimo? Maybe you think Teo's abnormal athleticism is going to be too much for Shakur to handle. Let me know who you have winning this one and how you think they get it done. It's going to be a massive night for the sport, and we'll be here covering every angle as we get closer to fight night. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates on this super lightweight blockbuster. This is one of those fights that reminds us why we love this sport. Two young champions, both in their prime, risking it all for greatness. You can't ask for more than that. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next video.